Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, Yahweh being the name of the Father, who people ignorantly call God, Yahweh Shah is his son, who people ignorantly call Jesus, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. That's in the name of the Holy Spirit, and that's where we get our revelation, our knowledge, our wisdom, and understanding. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, out there that's constantly fighting the good fight of faith, Lord will to the end. And double honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth. Lord, will this lesson be edifying to the hopeful elect out there, as well as condemning to the wicked. Going into today on he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. I believe it'll be something to that effect, the title, because we are trusted with this truth. We trusted with, holding our integrity. We trust with this wisdom, knowledge, and having the understanding of these scriptures is is a very valuable thing. And throughout our walk, we have certain things in our life, whatever position you play in this truth, it may be looked at as little, but in the full spectrum of things, it's really a big thing, because we connected as one body, many members. So also, we seeking for a kingdom to come. This ain't the finish line. This is just part of the race that we're in. So we have to, look forward, or we have to look forward to a new heaven, a new earth, something that's, beyond what we see here, beyond these four, walls that you may, wherever you reside at, your living quarters, is beyond your job. Even if you're working in corporate, it is beyond, that one woman you got. And if you got two or three, it's beyond that. It's beyond, having one or two, three, even brothers that got multiple children. It's beyond that. But the little that we have here, us being faithful with it, us being, true to our word, us being men, and you few women out there of integrity, it holds value. It means something. Because Yahweh Shem Shah is checking us out. He's seeing what we're doing, with the small things at this time. And it's going to show how we're going to be faithful with much. Lord will, man, we those men, you women that's out there, we're going to be faithful with much, a new heaven, a new earth, where dwelleth righteousness. We're going to, be really the powers, and we're going to have, we're going to be the top dog, sort of say, But right now, you looked at as, we're all the like the runts, we're looked at as the ones that are nothing here. And we have to really just come to grips that, hey, that's not the end of the story. So I'm going to just bring out these few scriptures, and Lord will, hey, this lesson be edifying to the hopeful elect out there. This is Luke chapter 16 and starting at verse 10. He that is faithful in that which is least. And we're going to get this word faithful. Because that's what it's based off of, us being faithful. And getting to the definition in here, let it say what it is. Pistos.
Strong's G 4103. Pistos.
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 And the definition, it's objectively trustworthy, trustful, believing, faithful, sure, true. So I went into the word. That word trustworthy, man, it has a lot that goes into it when you go from faithful and then you go into trustworthy. Trustworthy, you go into that and it has, the synonyms and those words. And it's the one that stood out for me was honest, you know, and then, with just being faithful, trustworthy, honest, that shows that you're a men, women of integrity, liking unto Job. So I'm going to continue back at Luke 16 and verse 10. It says, he that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. So it's a balance in this, meaning it's a left and a right. Those of us that Lord will are being faithful in the least are also going to be faithful in the much. And those that are unjust in the least are going to also be unjust in the much. Those are the ones that's going to, fall by the wayside. Those are going to be the ones that got to come back, through the loins of the elect, because they're not being shepherds over the flock. They're not looking out for those, whose best interests are at heart. Verse 11, it says, if therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to you trust in true riches, in the lighter things, whether it's, those few extra dollars we get, like right now you got, we're going through those that get taxes, those that get money, taxes back. We're in a tax time. Tax season is upon us. Jake want to act like like ain't nothing happened, and we ain't saying that you gotta, give it all, but hey, it should be, it's given back for a reason, and it's not to harp upon our own self. But then too, of course, you got to take care of yours. But it's really how we deal with the money that we do get, on how to be good stewards of it. But it says, if therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to you trust in true riches, the true riches of heaven, the kingdom to come. We looking forward to that. What the scriptures speak about, where he went to go prepare a place for us. Those hey, that's beyond, we speculate on, planets, because you look out into the planets, it just continue. It's continuous. It's like never ending. They continue to find in different planets, and this is, it's beyond what we can, picture right now, because we in this small little bubble, and we liken unto sand. If you just look up and you see all the stars, you see the heavens. If you ever flew in a plane, you go up in a plane and you see how everything looks so small, and that's just that's just a small spectrum of the whole, entire universe. That's a small speck that we're seeing, and we are even smaller than that. But we have we're taking care of this little piece that we're a part of, and Lord will, Yahweh Shema Shah has more in store for those that's of the elect to, be governors of the, governors of the body, and then just, to reign, to be able to govern a planet, to be able to, have everything in order, because our power, he says, everything be done decently and in order. That's the power we serve. So we are likened unto that. It says, if therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to you your trust, the true riches? And if ye have not been faithful in that which is another man's, who shall give you that which is your own? And that's likened unto different things in your life. When you borrow a brother's vehicle, or brother let you stay with him, or it's different scenarios that's out there. Or even when you are renting a place and you move from one point to the next, you shouldn't leave that place trashy as shit. That's just something, you just show true, because we're representatives of Yahweh Shema Shah. We should be found blameless. So it shouldn't be, you leave a place and it's just filthy. It's a saying out there, you should leave a place better than you left it. The best you can. It's understandable. You know, you got certain things that happen, but hey, we shouldn't be looked at as scoundrels. Like, man, it should be a pleasure to have us. You know, people look forward to seeing us come, not the opposite. All right, because we really are, you know, representing Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It should be a difference between us and them. We should stand out from the rest. And we should our hot from everything from our hygiene, you know, our attire. We shouldn't be all looking all filthy and, you know, bummily. That ain't mean you gotta have the most name brand shit and all that, but being clean though, you know, being hygienic, keeping your grill, taking care of your grill, your teeth, you know, brushing your shit, flossing. We learn about all kind of things in this truth. Learning how the oil pool. You know, you could go to the Walmart and get you some of that virgin coconut oil and oil pool your grill, man. 15 minutes or so every day. All that stuff helps with, you know, because we should be clean. You know, making sure, you know, we don't have no nasty BO. We shouldn't be having no funk on us. We represent Yahweh Shem Shai, the power, you know, above the true power, the Alpha, the Omega. If we look at it like that, like damn, the representative. If you just think about, excuse me, King Solomon's his servants. When I forget her name, when she came to the door, and the doorman, she thought, you know, was a higher up. She thought that he was a king. He was so dipped out, and that was a servant, the doorman. So how much liken unto us? You know, us being servants of Yahweh Shema Shai. Again, man, we understand we in hell, man. We in Babylon, man. We ain't, you ain't got to be wearing Versace and, you know, whatever these different name brands that's out there, you know, but going to Walmart and get what you could get, you know, but being presentable, being decent, you know, and having our hygiene up to par. That don't mean you got to be all, but grooming ourselves. That don't mean you got to be your nails on manicure, but damn, cutting your nails and you know, keeping them clean ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, and but just this ain't a thing on hygiene, but is you know, it's a full spectrum thing. Us being faithful with the little things. It's the things that go on behind closed doors that matter. These things matter, man. And then when we come together, you know, as like the A team, or you think come together as a whole, you know, like the what's the robot? I got him on my, I'm forgetting his name, Voltron. You know, you come together like Voltron. It's a, you know, it's a body. It's a whole package deal. We just shine even more. But jumping back, I'll finish that loop. Let me get this one. This is Matthew chapter 25. And verse 21. His Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. And this is Yahweh Shai speaking. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear, well done, thy good and faithful servant. You've been diligent about, you know, those things that seemingly were small, over the few things. So he's going to make you rule over many. You've been taking care of your seeds. You ain't just a deadbeat ass dad or a mother out there. You ain't just no deadbeat. You know, you took care of yours. You taking care of your seeds. You know, you taking care of the if you renting an apartment or whatever, you taking care of business. You ain't 3 months behind on your damn rent. You know, you ain't leaving it all. It's all unruly, taken care of. It's all dirty and shit. You ain't being like that. You taking care of the, you know, those few things. And Yahweh Shem Shai, Lord will, he's gonna make you ruler over many things. We like to use the excuse like, oh, we in hell, so that you gonna make your hell even worse. We shouldn't, you know, be in that type of mind state. Like, man, you know, we do our best to make the best of what we have. You know, Jake good at that. Like we may be on the bottom in a sense, but hey, I just heard a brother, he was giving an analogy about them cats that be down in out here in California. They got basically the downtown, the Skid Row, and a cat down there. He had a tent, but it was laid out. You know, he had everything in there. I think a cat had a jacuzzi in it. It was just dipped out. He had it, you know, and it was plush. It was clean though, even though he was on a, you know, what would be seemingly on the bottom. He still, you know, had his stuff, you know, in a clean, mannerable way. How much more, you know, us with this truth? So I'm gonna jump to, and it should be where we should be able to say that to one another. You know, get to the point where we ain't worried about each other's feelings in a sense, especially if it's something that's true. Brother tell me, hey man, your breath stink. Hey, here's some gum, but that's a temporary fix. You know, you gotta do something to get to the source of the matter. You know, your breath stink. Oh shit, let me you know work with it. Or damn, you musty. You know, you gotta do something to fix that. You know, stinking feet. You know, personal hygiene is very important, man. It helps you stay from being sick as well. Anyway, let me jump over to did I get Matthew 25 and 21? Yeah, I did. Let me get this next one. This is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 7. It says, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. You know, and I'll just bring it out because it goes to show that, hey, you gotta hey, these things, you have to be proven. And that's what Yahweh Shem Shah is doing. He's proving his friends, you know, his faithful ones. So we gotta, you know, we going through the proving ground right now. We ain't made it to the kingdom yet. We ain't made it in them chairs yet. So we going through the process of being proved and liking unto one another. You know, we prove one another. You just come into this and then just get around the brothers. You just, you know, it ain't like that. It's just like, okay, you know, we check each other out, brothers. You know, we scopeo, just checking out the scene. How does brother move? You know, how this person individual. You know, you go out even in public, see how one another, how we deal with, you know, civilians, how we deal with, you know, individuals on the outside. That say a lot too, because we, you know, this truth is about not just when we amongst one another, but when we, you know, in our everyday life. How do we get down? Because Yahweh Shem Shah, ultimately, he the one that's scoping the scene. He the ultimate one. And of course, sometimes, you know, he missed it. You missed it. Like, damn, I shouldn't have snapped. You know, because at times you may be driving, you know, catch a road rage, give a mother effer the finger or something, or be cussing them out in your car. What's the point giving them that energy? Afterwards, you know, I think about it, or you may think about it like, damn, but I give that person all that energy. And they on their merry way. Put all that energy into that shit. But anyway, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse, I believe it was 21. Yeah. 2 Corinthians 8 and 21. Providing for honest things, not only in the sight of the Lord, but also in the sight of men. You know, so what we doing, we ain't doing this, you know, just unto Yahweh Shem Shah. It should be something that it should be able to show our way of integrity should show amongst men. You can't say, like that scripture that say, how can you say you love the Most High who you can't see, but you can't love your brother that's right there? These faithful things in the small. Of course, you know, you show your love and honor and respect to Yahweh Shem Shah. You know, you're saying the names, you know, you're praying. But how are we dealing with one another? How are we dealing with, you know, off the record, sort of say, like when you ain't at camp, how do, you know, how you are in our thought life? Are we taking the time out to pray for one another? Or are we just like, you know, whatever? Are you know, giving alms? Even when, because the scriptures speak about not letting the left hand know what the right hand doing. Like, how are we dealing with one another, man? This thing is, is more than just what you see on a picture screen, to sort of say, or on a surface. It's deeper than that. And I'm coming to find out more and more as Yahweh Shemi Shah is allowing me to be a part of it, and see this, like, hey, it's deeper than just calling Esau Edom the white man. The devil. He is the white man, the so-called devil. He is the devil, though, but it's more than that. It goes more than that. It's a full spectrum, and that's why the scriptures always see it. It says, examine ourselves. And this truth make you definitely, check yourself. It ain't, you ain't being where you just all in yourself, but it's something that we always you have to constantly check yourself. You do physical exercise, you work out. That's something that you do on a consistent basis to work out this body. Scriptures say it profit little, but it profits. So but how much more on the parts that can't nobody see, on the inward man? That's the part that we want to have renewed day by day. Let me get this. This is I'm gonna close it on this one. This is Philippians chapter. No, I got one more after this. Philippians chapter 4, and verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest. And that honest, I'll just bring this out because it go back to that trustworthy, and that trustworthy go back to that what was it, hope? Let me see. I had it written down. So that honest goes back to trustworthy, and trustworthy goes back to being faithful. So going back, Philippians 4 and 8, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. That's how we should be having our mind on. Not on the latest, whatever the bullshit that's going on. Now, not that we don't get, knowing what's going on, because we stay abreast of, we try to stay abreast of everything, not like because you can't keep abreast of everything, but you try to see what's going on. It may be entertainment, it might be a movie, it might be the things that's going on prophecy wise, the news, even the weather. It's like a full spectrum. It's a full, 360 of everything. We, know a little bit about everything. So us being honest in this, man, that's the way we should move. That's, being men, women of integrity. This is Job, and I'm going to close it on this one. This is Job chapter. What was that? Okay, Job chapter 2 and verse 3. And Yahweh said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feared the Most High, and escheweth evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. So even, Job going through, and he's an example for us, going through all the calamity that he went through, all the hard times he went through, he still kept his integrity. He still held fast. And that's how we should be likened unto. Hold our integrity regardless of what's going on around us, whatever, however somebody else may move. We don't move that way. I don't move that way. Personalize it. I don't move that way. Like, that's how you may deal. I don't get down like that. That's why you had a whole world, with this, these PDF files that's coming out, this Epstein individual, and then everybody that's connected to him. That's because everybody go along to get along. And people allow the lust of the flesh. Integrity is doing what you're going to do regardless of who's around. When nobody's watching, it shows who we are. And those people that got that names popped up in that show you they have a lack of integrity. You know, besides them being totally just off. That's just some wicked shit to be involved in. How they did what all the things that's called that's about. You know, but the point is on this, man, is just really be faithful in those things that are seemingly small. Because in actuality, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, he's looking on the integrity of us as men and women in this truth and how we're going to deal. And this is just something to come. That's why even on a little job you may do or whatever you do, it should be something that it should show the integrity that we have. And a lot of times having that type of integrity, you're going to come up against opposition. You'll come up against those that's like, it don't take all that. It does take all that, because it's like your name should mean something. Our name should mean something. It should hold some weight. What comes behind your name, it should be very precious. It should be some value that's connected with our names, and that's from taking care of the small things to the quote unquote bigger things. Lord will us is edifying to the hopeful elect out there, and with that, all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth, peace, and blessings. To you, Akim, out there fighting this good fight of faith. Lord will to the end. Till next time, Lord will. Shalom.